In this video, we will discuss about position, path length and displacement. Let us first discuss what is position. To know the position of an object, we need two things. Number one, frame of reference, and number two, reference point or origin. What is frame of reference? Frame of reference means a coordinate system along with a clock. You see in this figure, this is a coordinate system. This is the x coordinate, this is y coordinate, and this is the z coordinate. This coordinate system with a clock, along with a clock, is called frame of reference. Then what is reference point or origin? The point of intersection of these axes, that is x axis, y axis and z axis, intersect at a point which is called origin or the reference point. If you take a coordinate x, y, z, the coordinate x, y, z of an object describes the position of the object with respect to this coordinate system. When we say that the object is at rest, if the coordinate or coordinates of an object do not change with time, we say that the object is at rest. When we say that the object is in motion, if the coordinate or coordinates of an object change with time, we say that the object in motion. To describe motion in one dimension, we need one axis. To describe motion in two dimensions, we need two axes. And to describe motion in three dimensions, we need three axes. It is very important to note that description of an event depends on the frame of reference chosen for the description. For example, if a car is moving on a road, we choose a frame of reference which is attached to either you or to the ground. If you consider the frame of reference is attached with a person sitting in the car, then the car is at rest with respect to that person sitting in the car. How can you describe motion along a straight line? To describe motion along a straight line, we have to choose an axis. The axis coincides with the path of the object. We measure the position of the object with reference to a conveniently chosen origin. We generally use the following convention. Position to the right of the origin is generally taken as positive, and position to the left of the origin is generally taken as negative. Now let us discuss what is path length. Distance travelled by an object from its initial position to its final position is called path length. Suppose this is a reference line. This is the origin of the reference line and this is the x-axis. You may say this is the x-axis of the frame of reference, and these are the distances in meter, 40 meter, 80 meter, like this, and these are 2 points Q and P. Suppose you consider the motion of a car along a straight line, then let us say the x-axis coincides with the car's motion. Suppose at time t equal to 0, x equal to 0, then the question is, what is the path length when the car moves from O to P? So when the car moves from O to P, the path length is equal to plus 320 meter. But what is the path length when the car moves from O to P and then moves back from P to Q? From O to P, the path length is 320 meter. You see in this figure, from O to P, the path length is 320 meter. And from P to Q, the path length is plus 120 meter. So what will be the total path length? From O to P, it is 320 meter. Then from P to Q, it is 480 meter. So the path length when the car moves from O to P and then moves back from P to Q is equal to 480 meter. And you should remember that path length is a scalar quantity. Now let us discuss what is displacement. The change in position of an object is called displacement. Generally, displacement is a vector quantity. Suppose you take x1 is the position of an object at time t1 and x2 is the position of the object at time t2. Then we define the displacement of the object as a delta x. Here the symbol delta is a Greek letter which denote change in a quantity. And delta x is equal to x2 minus x1. x2 is the final position and x1 is the initial position. So delta x, that is the displacement, is equal to final position minus initial position in time delta t, that is t2 minus t1. Let us discuss some important points in displacement. In one dimension, we should not describe motion of object in vector notation. In one dimensional motion, there are only two directions. One is your backward direction, another one is your forward direction. If you consider it upward and downward, similarly it is also backward and forward in one direction. These two directions can be specified by plus and minus sign. For example, consider the displacement of a car as shown in the figure. So this is a displacement graph and this is the origin and this is the displacement along x-axis, and the displacement is denoted with meter. This is in 40 meter, this is 80 meter, like this, and these are 2 points Q and P. So question is, what is the displacement of the car moving from O to P? From O to P, what will be the displacement? So displacement will be equal to delta x, that is equal to x2 minus x1. x2, that is the displacement from O to P, is equal to 360 meter, and from O to P, we have to find out the displacement from O to P, that is final position is your x2 and initial position is x1, and initial position here x1 is equal to 0 meter. So displacement will be equal to 360 meter minus 0 meter. So it is equal to plus 360 meter. So the displacement has magnitude 360 meter and is directed in the positive x direction as indicated by the plus sign. Similarly, what is the displacement of the car moving from P to Q? Displacement is equal to delta x, that is equal to final position minus initial position, that is equal to final position is 240 meter and initial position is 360 meter. So displacement will be equal to 240 meter minus 360 meter, so it is equal to minus 120 meter. So the displacement has magnitude 120 meter and is directed in the negative x direction as indicated by the negative sign. Thus, it is not necessary to use vector notation for discussing motion of object in one dimension. So when you discuss motion of an object in one dimension, you should not use vector notation. The magnitude of displacement may or may not be equal to the path length travelled by an object. For example, for motion of a car from O to P, as you see from this figure, the path length from O to P is equal to 360 meter and the displacement is also equal to 360 meter. So here displacement is equal to path length. But for motion of car from O to P and back to Q, what will be the motion of the car from O to P and back to Q? So you see from this figure, the path length will be equal to, from O to P it is 360 meter and from back to Q, from P to Q, it will be equal to 120 meter. So the total path length will be equal to 360 meter plus 120 meter. So it will be equal to 480 meter. But what will be the displacement when the car moves from O to P, then from P to Q? The final position is 240 meter and the initial position is 0 meter. So the displacement will be equal to 240 meter minus 0 meter. So it will be equal to 240 meter. Thus, magnitude of displacement is not equal to the magnitude of path length. So from this example, it is clear that the magnitude of displacement may or may not be equal to the path length travelled by an object. Third point, the magnitude of the displacement for a course of motion means final position coincide with initial position. So the magnitude of the displacement for a course of motion may be 0, but the corresponding path length is not 0. For example, if the car starts from O, goes to P and then returns to O, what will be the path length? The path length will be equal to OP plus PO, that will be equal to 720 meter, but the displacement is equal to 0. So the magnitude of displacement for a course of motion may be 0, but the corresponding path length is not 0. Now let us discuss about position time graph. Motion of an object can be represented by position time graph. For an object is stationary, position time graph is a straight line parallel to the time axis. For example, a car standing still at x equal to 40 meter. You see in this figure, this is the time axis and this is the position axis. And a car standing still at x equal to 40 meter, this is 40 meter. So when time is changing, the position is not changing. So from this graph it is clear that for an object when it is stationary, the position time graph is a straight line which is parallel to the time axis. Position time graph for uniform motion along a straight line. Uniform motion means a body covers equal distance in equal interval of time. If an object moves in uniform motion along a straight line, then the position time graph is straight line which is inclined to t-axis. So this is a graph, position time graph for a body which motion is uniform along a straight line. This is the time axis and this is the position axis. So position time graph for uniform motion is a straight line which is inclined to t-axis. Now consider the motion of a car that starts from rest. You see, this is the position time graph for the motion of a car which starts from rest when t equal to 0 second. You see, when t is equal to 0 second, the position is 0. So the car starts from rest and it starts from the origin O and picks up speed till time is equal to 10 second. When t is equal to 10 second, it picks up speed and thereafter moves with uniform speed till time is equal to 18 second. When time t is equal to 18 second, if it moves with uniform speed, that means it will be a straight line. You see in the figure, it will be a straight line. Then the brakes are applied and the car stops. When the car stops, it will be parallel to, this line will be parallel to time axis. Then brakes are applied and the car stops at t is equal to 20 second. You see, at time t equal to 20 second, the car stops and the position of the car is equal to 296 meter. When t equal to 20 second, position of the car is equal to 296 meter from the origin. So this is the plotting of position time graph. We will discuss about this position time graph in the next video. Thank you.